What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got Miesha Tate's OnlyFans apology, Alexander the Great on punching bag Chikadze, Gilbert Burns and Khamzat Chimaev news, and much more. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. Now let's get into it. Henry Cejudo says Petr Yan is a great striker, but he would out-grapple and drown him. Henry Cejudo is very confident in his skills, no matter what. And why shouldn't he be? He's an Olympic gold medalist and held both the flyweight and bantamweight titles simultaneously. He only retired in early 2020 and has since taken up coaching high-level athletes and fighters at the Fight Ready gym in Arizona. Still, Cejudo continues to call out people whom he believes he could go up against. Not only featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovskiy, but also interim bantamweight champion Petr Yan. Cejudo does applaud Yan for his striking skills, as the Russian is lights out and extremely technical on his feet. But Cejudo believes he would certainly have the edge when it comes to the ground game, and said as much in a recent interview with MMA Junkie. This is what he had to say.
Yes, I will take that dude down. Yeah, he's a great striker. I can tell you that. When I talk about position, composure, and distance, Petr Yan is really good at it. But man, I'm too much of a competitor. I'm too smart for this dude. I will take him down. I will literally drown his with my wrestling. I'll put him against the cage. And I ain't no Aljamain Sterling, guys.
While Cejudo states that he's willing to come back to the octagon for a title fight, and only if the price is right, UFC President Dana White scoffed at the idea, saying Cejudo is retired. Meanwhile, Yan is training for his bantamweight title unification fight against Aljamain Sterling at UFC 273 in April. What do you think about Cejudo's comments here about Yan? And if they ever fought, how do you think this fight would actually go? Gilbert Burns doubles down on his request to fight in Rio against Khamzat Chimaev. It's been call out after call out from Khamzat Chimaev, and while he's been asking to fight everyone from Brock Lesnar to the entire welterweight division, Gilbert Burns is doubling down and putting his hand up to take on the much-hyped Chechen Swede. Chimaev once again called out Burns on his YouTube channel, lumping him in with a ton of other fighters who he says are ducking him. He even said that he was more Brazilian than Burns because his coach is Brazilian, and said he wants the fight to take place in Brazil. Well, last week, Burns said he was eyeing up a potential fight in Rio de Janeiro in May, which is around the time the UFC plans to host a show there. This week, in a tweet, Burns is officially calling out Khamzat as he posted this. "Make it happen, Dana White. I'm all in. 5 rounds in Brazil. Let's grapple." He tagged Chimaev, the UFC, and boss man Dana White in that tweet. Khamzat responded to the tweet with a few 100% emojis himself. Chimaev hasn't fought since he dismantled Li Jingliang in October, winning in the first round via rear naked choke. It was his 4th finish in 4 fights, 3 of which were in the first round. Burns, meanwhile, last fought in July, a unanimous decision victory over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. What do you think about Burns and Khamzat's online agreement to fight? And do you think the UFC will actually book this fight? Who do you think would have the edge there? Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all the latest fight news. Alexander Volkanovski says he would have made punching bag Giga Chikadze look really bad. Just before his fight against Calvin Kattar last weekend, Giga Chikadze was talking some trash about the Korean Zombie being tapped to replace Max Holloway for the featherweight title fight against champion Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Well, Saturday came and went and saw Chikadze ruined for the better part of 5 rounds, losing a unanimous decision to Calvin Kattar. Chikadze, who was riding a 9-fight winning streak into that fight, suffered his first loss in the UFC. And now, Volkanovski is sharing his thoughts about what transpired over the last week. The featherweight champ was on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani this week to talk about a range of things, including his preparation for the upcoming title fight at UFC 273. But Helwani also asked him about his thoughts on Chikadze, and this is what the champ had to say.
Again, just man, that's why you got to fight these contenders. Fight all the top guys that are going to mix it up. See where you are. See, you know what I mean? Before you start facing the champ, you could imagine, you know, when you talk about making adjustments, game planning, cardio, all these tools that I have, mate, I would have made him look really bad.
Volkanovski also stated that you can't just have one kick, which is what Giga was known for coming into this fight. Lethal leg strikes, as the champ said that all you had to do was stop the kick and he becomes a punching bag, referring to the bloody mess that Chikadze was at the conclusion of the Kattar fight last weekend. What do you make of the featherweight champion's comments here? Fernand Lopez is hoping to let bygones be bygones with Francis Ngannou. Even though the two are no longer professionally training together, nor are they on speaking terms, Francis Ngannou's former coach, Fernand Lopez, hopes the two will be able to bury the hatchet at some point. Ever since the heavyweight champ left Lopez's mentorship, it's been made very public, and it certainly didn't help when he was filmed walking past Lopez and former sparring partners Ciryl Gane and Nasruddin Imavov, and ignoring them backstage at Madison Square Garden late last year. It's all culminated in a heavyweight title unification bout at UFC 270 this Saturday night in Anaheim, California, with Gane and Ngannou set to battle it out. But despite all the bad blood, Lopez says that he's open to shaking Ngannou's hand, even if they will never work again with each other. This is what Lopez had to say to Submission Radio.
I will not go back to work with Francis ever, but I think he's a gentleman that we should be able to say hello, how you doing? That's it, and be polite. That's the thing. It's just a sport anyway.
Lopez basically said he was sick of answering questions about his lack of relationship with his former star pupil, and just wants to make sure that the two can get along. With January 22nd edging ever closer, what are your thoughts about Lopez's statements? And what are your predictions for Saturday night's main event? Miesha Tate issues apology for anyone who was offended by her comment regarding OnlyFans. Miesha Tate has been getting a lot of heat over the last few days over a comment that she made in a YouTube video. She was asked if she ever had plans of joining OnlyFans, the adult-oriented subscription service which has provided alternative income streams for plenty of people, and even some fighters. Tate replied by saying, "Nowhere in this video did I say I was desperate," and the internet took that and completely ran with it as people began bombarding Tate with comments denigrating her over her use of the word desperate. Well, Cupcake is now issuing a clarification and an apology over her remarks, which she says she made in jest. This is what she told Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour about it.
I want to fight. I don't need money, and that's kind of where the clarification goes for that. It's like, I wouldn't just go and sell myself on OnlyFans for just money. I don't need money, and I'm not doing this for money. I'm okay, guys. Like, I'm okay. And the word choice I used was wrong, and I'm very sorry if it offended anybody who has an OnlyFans, because it certainly was not my intention. I was not.
This was only part of her answer, but it's all the same, as she goes on to say that the media hyped this up using only the word desperate in their headlines, and that she supports anyone, especially women, for doing whatever they want. OnlyFans has become a primary source of income for many people, including some fighters like Paige Van Zandt, who has generated a ton of money using the site. Tate, meanwhile, is not personally interested in OnlyFans, saying she'd rather be taken seriously as a fighter than as an OnlyFans user who also happens to fight. But what do you think of her apology and clarification? And do you believe this whole thing is much ado about nothing? Or do you believe she did the right thing by issuing this apology? Today's video was jam-packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. See you next time.